All right, welcome. Today we are diving into something that is, let's be honest, a homeowner's worst nightmare: water damage. It's one of the most stressful things you can go through, for sure. But knowing the process, understanding what's supposed to happen, that can make a world of difference. So let's get into it. Okay, I want you to imagine this for a second. You head down to your basement and your stomach just drops. You hear that squish under your feet and you see standing water everywhere. You're probably panicking, right? But what you do in these next few moments, it's everything. Okay, first things first. Before you even think about anything else, it's all about safety. If you know where your main water shutoff is and you can get to it safely, go turn it off. But, and this is a big but, if that water is anywhere near your breaker box or other electronics, do not go in there. Just stay out. The next thing you do, grab your phone. Before you touch a single thing, take pictures, take videos, get every angle. Trust me, this documentation is absolute gold when you file your insurance claim. Once that's done, you make 2 phone calls. First, to your insurance company to get the claim started. Second, to a professional restoration company to get the cavalry on the way. So the first bit of chaos is over. You might think, okay, the worst is done. But here's the thing. The water you can see, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are hidden dangers lurking, and the clock is officially ticking. And you know, the crazy part is how this stuff happens. It's not usually some big, dramatic event. We're talking about everyday things that can go wrong in any house at any time. A supply line under your sink finally gives out, your sump pump decides to quit in the middle of a massive rainstorm, or yeah, even a simple hose on the back of your washing machine just ruptures. It happens so fast and almost always without any warning. All right, I want you to burn this number into your brain, 24 to 48 hours. Right now, that's the most important number in your life. It's your new worst enemy. And here's why. Because that's literally all it takes for a simple water issue to explode into a full-blown mold catastrophe. You see, mold spores are just everywhere. They're floating in the air, just waiting for a little bit of moisture to activate. Give them some wet drywalls, some soggy insulation, and boom. Within a day or two, they start colonizing. That's why getting pros in to dry things out immediately isn't just a nice idea. It is absolutely essential to stop a much bigger, much more expensive problem from taking root. Okay, so you've made the call. The professionals are on their way. What exactly are they going to do? Well, this is where the pros bring order to the chaos. And it's not just about sucking up water with a shop vac. It's a real science, a very structured process designed to get your home back to normal. You can really break down the whole professional process into 3 big steps. Phase 1 is the emergency part, getting all of that standing water out as fast as possible. Phase 2, and this is the really critical one, is the controlled drying of the structure itself. And finally, phase 3 is reconstruction, putting everything back together that had to be torn out. Now, let's talk about that second phase, the drying part, because honestly, this is what separates the pros from some guy with a fan. True structural drying is all about creating a perfect drying environment. They bring in these massive industrial-grade dehumidifiers and high-velocity air movers, and they set them up in a very specific pattern. They're not just guessing. They use these cool little moisture meters to get readings from deep inside your walls, under your floors. It's a managed process that can't be rushed. It usually takes anywhere from 3 to 7 days to get it right. So how can you be sure the team you hired actually knows what they're doing? Well, believe it or not, there are actual industry-wide standards for this stuff. And knowing what they are, that gives you the power, because it's what your insurance company is going to be looking for too. Okay, here's an acronym for you, but it's a super important one. IICRC. It stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification. Think of them as the organization that writes the rulebook for the entire restoration industry. When a company says they're IICRC certified, it means their people have been trained to follow a very specific, science-backed playbook to get the job done correctly and safely. It's the gold standard. Okay, this is super important. Not all water is created equal. The type of water determines pretty much everything that happens next. There are 3 categories. Category 1 is clean water. Think of a broken water pipe. With this, there's a good chance they can just dry and save things. Then you have Category 2, or gray water. This is from something like a washing machine overflow. It has some contaminants in it. But the worst one is Category 3, black water. This is sewage or floodwater from outside. It's highly contaminated, and the rule is simple. Any porous material it touches, carpet, drywall, insulation, it all has to be cut out and thrown away. No exceptions. All right, you're going to hear these 2 words thrown around a lot: mitigation and restoration. They sound similar, but they're totally different phases of the job. Mitigation is about stopping the bleeding. That's the emergency response, extracting water, tearing out wet stuff, setting up all the drying equipment. Restoration, on the other hand, is about healing the wound. That's when the construction crews come in to put it all back together. New drywall, new floors, painting, the works.
Okay, deep breath. The fans are gone, the immediate danger is past. Now comes the part everyone really worries about: the money. Who's paying for all this, and how does insurance work? Let's get into it.
And here it is, the big one. The question on everyone's mind. Does insurance actually cover all of this? You pay those premiums every single month, so when disaster hits, are they going to come through for you? And the honest answer? Well, it's complicated. It really depends. So here's the key thing you got to understand about insurance. Your standard policy is built for things that are sudden and accidental. So a pipe that just bursts out of nowhere, that's usually covered. A washing machine hose that fails? Covered. But a slow, gradual leak behind a wall that's been dripping for 6 months, insurance often sees that as a maintenance problem and they won't cover it. And this is why you have to read your policy. Damage from outside flooding, that requires a totally separate flood insurance policy. And a sewer backup, that's often an extra bit of coverage, an add-on that you have to ask for. You know, this quote right here really hits the nail on the head. Seeing the bill for professional restoration can be a shock, I get it. But you're not just paying them to dry some carpet. What you're really doing is making an investment to avoid a way, way bigger financial nightmare later on, like a massive mold problem or, even worse, rotted out wood in the structure of your house. So that brings us to the end. Your house is dry, the claim is closed, you made it through. But the real question is, what happens now? What did you learn from this? Do you now know where your main water shutoff is? Have you checked those old appliance hoses lately? Being prepared isn't just about reacting to a disaster. It's about being ready so maybe, just maybe, the next one isn't quite so bad. Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.